Tesla is sold out of the Model Y for the quarter. We also have some proof that the backlog for the Model 3 is also forming. Troy tweeted today, and there are replies to this tweet that indicate a backlog forming. It is non-existent. Speaking about the inventory, I ordered an existing inventory car. Then I was notified it would take 3 to 4 weeks for delivery. Literally, 3 to 4 weeks. I guess parts sitting at the factory is considered existing inventory. But there is more. Troy compared this, which is Model 3 with Model Y. Model Y is in blue, and he's saying that this makes it clear the Model 3 inventory is not that high in the US. And while it is helpful to see this trend going down, here's what's actually more helpful. When you look at the hourly data, you will see that the inventory is coming down fast. Some say that this is just Tesla clearing out the inventory just a little bit ahead of Tesla announcing the Model 3 refresh. And while I can get on board with that a little bit more if we were talking about China, in the US, it's a little bit different. We had this leak from a while ago. If you look here, you'll see the Cybertruck is scheduled for late this year, which seems to make sense. And this leak happened actually quite a while ago. And that is basically what is happening with the Cybertruck. And this is the Model 3 Highland. That's the refresh, redesigned Model 3. You can see Fremont, United States. And that is not even scheduled for this year. That is scheduled for late next year. Although I would hope Tesla actually brought forward the plan to refresh the Model 3 sooner. I think that would make sense, but that would be a change of plans. Although there was a leak from Reuters in November, so just a few months ago, that the Model 3 refreshed version would go into production in the third quarter of 2023, specifically in Shanghai, though. But then, on the other hand, it would be kind of really weird for Tesla to produce a refreshed version of the Model 3 in Shanghai only, but not in the US. So I would say that these are supposed to come out roughly at the same time. At least that's what you would think. It's also important to note that the leak from Reuters came at the end of November, which is when Troy and I already expected a deeper price cut in China, which happened eventually. It just happened in the beginning of January instead of December, although in December we also had some incentives for the vehicles delivered in December. So the Model 3 demand is not likely to be a factor to move up the timeline for the refresh Model 3 to be released to the public and produced, because Tesla probably anticipated these price cuts at that point already. Now back to the Model Y, Tesla has sold out the Model Y for the quarter in the United States with no more production builds until April, even though we are just halfway through the quarter. Specifically, Tesla has completely run out of production build slots for the quarter for Model Y. If you want to custom order the Model Y, you will have to wait until April or June. One thing that is helping Tesla sell Model 3 and Model Y vehicles this quarter is the fact that we don't know if those models will still have access to the full tax credit for vehicles delivered after March. I'm not worried about the Model Y and the Model 3 performance. And then if Tesla does release the Model 3 long range, I'm not worried about that either. However, the Model 3 standard range, that gets battery packs from Giga Shanghai. Giga Shanghai builds those battery packs, ships them to Fremont in California, and then Tesla puts those battery packs into the Model 3 standard range. To get the $7,500 credit, the batteries have to be sourced from certain countries that are specifically not China. So that is certainly an open question, but I haven't seen that anywhere in the news. Like, you have to dig for that stuff. So I don't think anyone who's just a regular consumer will know, the Model 3 specifically, this version will not get the $7,500 credit, perhaps after the rules are established exactly. I don't think that really is impacting the demand for the Model 3 specifically. Unless the only buyers of the Model 3 are Tesla stock investors and other sophisticated investors that check the news every single day and know exactly which batteries are put into which vehicles from where. Anyway, what I'm really saying here is, if you want the Model 3 standard range, you should get one right now. Because also, even if you see one in inventory currently, the moment you order it, you might be notified that it will still take 3 to 4 weeks for you to take delivery. I understand this particular tweet is just one example, it's just one anecdote, but that's how changes really start. You just see, one indication somewhere, and then it's too late. It's all gone, and there is a backlog, and now you have to wait in line. But let's see how it all plays out. Troy Tesla has a strong opinion on the new hardware 4 versus hardware 3, which is right now in every single, well, most Tesla vehicles. He says that driverless FSD full self-driving with hardware 3 looks unlikely. Tesla will continue working towards driverless FSD with hardware 4 for the foreseeable future, for the next 2+ years. These two systems are fundamentally significantly different, meaning upgrading from hardware 3 to hardware 4, Elon Musk says, is not economically feasible. Here's specifically what Elon Musk said about this matter. With respect to upgrading cars that have hardware 3, I don't think that will be needed. Hardware 3 will not be as good as hardware 4, but I'm confident that hardware 3 will still far exceed the safety of the average human. So let's say, for argument's sake, if hardware 3 can be, say, 200 to 300% safer than human, hardware 4 might be, 500 or 600%. There will be a hardware 5 beyond that. 300% may not sound that high, or especially 200%, but 200% is actually 3 times as good as human driving. Some think that when someone says 300%, that is literally 3 times. It's actually 4 times, because 100% is twice as good because you double the performance. 200% is 3 times as good, so therefore 300% is 4 times as good. Just wanted to throw that out. Here's how I think about this issue. To me, as a long-term investor, even in the worst case, if, let's say, Troy is right and FSD hardware 3 is not really going to be able to participate in the robotaxi network, let's say. While ideally, it would be much better if every single vehicle already on the road could be converted to a full self-driving vehicle that could also be a robotaxi. What will matter the most is how many more cars will Tesla be producing and what is going to be the value of each new vehicle sold. Because of how fast Tesla is growing, Tesla's 2022 deliveries nearly match its 2012 to 2020 total deliveries. And when I look at Tesla's PE currently, and I see that it is roughly in the 50 range, which is not too dissimilar to BYD's PE ratio, and BYD clearly is not even attempting to sell full self-driving. That tells me that full self-driving is not priced into Tesla stock at all. So even in the event that hardware-free vehicles are not capable of being upgraded to hardware 4, even in that case, Tesla stock will be just fine. Also, just looking at what Tesla did before, if you had a computer that's 2.0 or 2.5, you were offered a free upgrade to the new FSD computer. And clearly, Tesla is not going to do that with hardware free. There will be no free upgrades, it appears, which would suggest to me that at least Elon himself truly believes that hardware 3 will be capable of full self-driving. However, I can easily see performance differences between the two versions. Maybe one version will drive a little bit slower and be overly cautious just to be sure, just to be extra safe, while the newer version is going to drive faster, smoother. There's going to be no sudden steering wheel movements, and it will probably drive faster through difficult weather. And this is the Tesla stock buying opportunity explained by Elon Musk. My name is Matt Postis. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.